Why the next Steve Jobs will be a prompt engineer. The most valuable skill of the last 30 years was learning to speak to a computer in its language, code. The most valuable skill of the next 30 will be teaching the computer to understand yours. The age of the coder as king is over. The power is shifting from the person who builds the engine to the person who can steer it. Steve Jobs was not the best engineer at Apple. He wasn't even a coder. He was a conductor. He was the master translator between human desire and technical execution. His genius was his ability to articulate a vision with such clarity that entire teams of engineers could build it. Today, that team of engineers is becoming an AI. And the role of the conductor, the visionary who can translate intent into a precise outcome, is the prompt engineer. In this video, we're not just going to talk about a job title. We are going to deconstruct the operational framework of the new, most powerful person in technology.
The conductor, not the coder. Let's deconstruct the myth of the superstar coder. For decades, we believed the person with the most technical skill, the one who could write the most elegant code, held all the power. That model is obsolete. Think about Steve Jobs. He wasn't an engineer. He couldn't code his way out of a paper bag. But he built the most valuable company on Earth. How? He was a conductor. His genius was not in playing an instrument. It was in his ability to make the entire orchestra play his symphony. He was the ultimate translator of human vision into technical reality. His value wasn't in writing the code. It was in defining the objective with such insane clarity that the engineers knew exactly what to build. This is the exact operating model of an elite prompt engineer. The orchestra is already assembled. It's the most powerful orchestra in human history. It's called a large language model. The instruments are all there, capable of performing feats that were impossible just years ago. The problem is, without a conductor, all you have is noise, a collection of powerful but uncoordinated assets. The coder is a musician, focused on playing their instrument perfectly. They operate within a specific, defined task. The prompt engineer is the conductor. They don't focus on a single instrument. They focus on the final output, the complete piece of music. The conductor is the only one who hears the entire symphony before it's played. Their job is to provide the master instruction set. The prompt is the sheet music for the entire orchestra. A poorly written prompt gets you a sloppy, chaotic result. A masterfully crafted prompt, one that anticipates ambiguities, defines constraints, and clarifies intent, produces a masterpiece. The value has shifted from building the components to directing the system. The leverage is no longer in knowing how to build a single gear. The value is in knowing how to assemble the engine and where to drive it. That is the conductor.
The AI language barrier, think about the last time you gave a simple instruction and it was completely misinterpreted. It happens between humans constantly. Now imagine you're giving instructions to an entity with near infinite knowledge, but zero real-world experience, zero intuition. That is the AI language barrier. It isn't a vocabulary problem. It's a context problem. When you speak to another person, you're not just using words. You're leveraging a massive shared database of culture, social cues, and unspoken assumptions. If you tell a marketing colleague to draft a professional email, they understand the implied context of your industry, your brand's voice, and the current project goals. An AI has none of that. It operates on pure data and statistical probability. It has processed billions of data points, but it hasn't lived any of them. For an AI, professional is just a token associated with other tokens in its dataset. It doesn't understand the nuance between professional for a law firm versus professional for a tech startup. This is where the prompt engineer operates. They are the expert translator across this barrier. Their job is not to talk to the AI, but to program it with words. They deconstruct a vague human desire into a precise, machine-readable instruction set. A bad operator asks, "Write a marketing email for my new coffee." A prompt engineer commands, "Act as a senior copywriter for a premium direct-to-consumer brand. Your target audience is affluent millennials who value sustainability and craftsmanship. Your task is to write a 150-word email introducing a new limited edition geisha coffee blend. The tone must be exclusive and sophisticated. The objective is to drive a click-through to the product page. End with a clear call to action. Reserve your batch now. The first request is a gamble. The second is an execution plan. The prompt engineer doesn't just speak the language of the machine, they translate the messy, abstract world of human intent into the cold, hard logic the machine requires to perform effectively. The person who masters this translation layer doesn't just get better answers, they control the output.
Systems architect versus bricklayer. On any major project, you have two fundamental roles, the bricklayer and the architect. The bricklayer is a technician. They are an expert at executing a specific, well-defined task. Give them a pile of bricks and a blueprint, and they will build a perfect wall. Their value is linear. It's measured in the number of bricks they can lay in an hour. They are highly skilled, but they are executing a small part of a much larger plan. They don't design the building, they build a piece of it. The architect never lays a single brick. The architect designs the entire system. They understand the objective, the constraints, the materials, and how every component must integrate to create the final structure. Their decisions have exponential impact. A single change to the blueprint can alter the function and value of the entire building. They are the strategist. Now, let's map this directly to the world of AI and prompting. The bricklayer is the casual user. They ask for a single, isolated output. Write me an email. Summarize this report. Generate a picture of a cat. They are using a powerful tool to complete one task. This is a low-leverage activity. It saves a few minutes, but it doesn't build a sustainable advantage. The value is temporary, and the skill is easily replicated. The systems architect is the true prompt engineer. They don't think in single tasks, they think in workflows. They design machines made of language. An architect doesn't just say, write a marketing email. They design a system. They say, step 1, analyze this attached customer data to identify the top 3 pain points. Step 2, for each pain point, generate 5 different subject lines that use a scarcity framework. Step 3, write the body of the email, starting with the highest performing subject line, referencing the specific pain point, and ending with a clear call to action. Step 4, package all variations into a JSON file for A/B testing. Do you see the critical difference? The bricklayer gets an email. The architect gets an automated email generation and testing system. The bricklayer completes a task. The architect builds an asset. One is a command, the other is a protocol. One is a user, the other is a designer. The architect's value isn't in executing the task. The AI does that. Their value is in designing the logic of the system itself. This is the shift. You must decide if you are training to be a bricklayer or an architect. The prompt engineering stack. To operate at an elite level, you need a system, a repeatable framework. For prompt engineering, that system is a stack. Think of it like a software stack. Each layer builds upon the one below it. If the foundation is weak, the entire structure fails. The first layer, the foundation of the entire stack, is domain knowledge. You cannot direct the AI effectively on a topic you don't understand. The AI is an incredibly powerful intern, but it is still an intern. If you ask it to create a go-to-market strategy for a SaaS product, but you don't know what CAC, LTV, or a sales funnel is, the output it gives you will be useless. Worse, you won't even know it's useless. Domain knowledge allows you to ask the right questions, provide the correct context, and, most importantly, critically evaluate the output. Without this foundation, you are just gambling. The second layer, built directly on that foundation, is logic. This is where you move from having a goal to structuring a command. Your prompt isn't a question, it's an algorithm. You need to think in terms of constraints, variables, and desired output formats. You define the persona the AI should adopt. You set the negative constraints, the things that should not do. You structure the request as a logical sequence. First, analyze this data for trends. Second, based on those trends, generate 3 potential strategies. Third, For each strategy, list the pros and cons in a table format. This isn't a conversation. This is you architecting an operational workflow for the AI to execute. The third layer is clarity. This is the interface between your logic and the machine, language. Ambiguity is your enemy. Every word must be precise. There's a universe of difference between write something about sales and write a 300-word email script for a B2B sales development rep to send to a cold prospect in the logistics industry with the goal of booking a 15-minute discovery call. The tone should be concise, professional, and respectful of their time. One is a wish, the other is a command. You must use unambiguous, direct language. Define your terms, specify your formats. This layer is about eliminating the possibility of misinterpretation. And the final layer at the very top is iteration. No one writes the perfect prompt on the first try. The master prompt engineer operates in a tight feedback loop. You send the prompt, you analyze the output, you identify the deviation from your desired outcome, then you refine the prompt. You tweak a variable, clarify a command, or add a new constraint. And you run it again. This is a process of systematic optimization. You are not just talking to the AI, you are training it on your specific intent through a series of corrections. This iterative loop is what separates the amateur from the professional. It's how you dial in the output from 80% correct to 99% perfect. This is the stack: domain knowledge, logic, clarity, and iteration. It's not magic, it's a methodology. It's the engineering discipline for directing the most powerful tool ever created.
The takeaway is this: technology has reached a state where the machine is powerful enough. The new bottleneck, the new source of immense value, is the quality of the instructions we give it. Stop thinking about learning to code. Start thinking about learning to direct. The future isn't about building the tools, it's about mastering them. If you want to build the systems that win, subscribe to Capital Sanctum. We deconstruct the frameworks of power and performance.